Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 27 of my Factorio Post-Nauvis guide. So in the last episode, we created some superconductors and some accumulators. We only need about 4 of these, and we're a little bit behind on EM plants. So I might end up removing some of those. I also added some productivity modules to everything that is basically from the start of the holmium process, minus these superconductors over here, just to kind of get more like value, more bang for our buck from each of the holmium ore that we are consuming. And as you can see, we are pretty much almost going to be completely limited by the holmium ore. That's a pretty common state to be in on Fulgora. We shouldn't have too many of those problems here. We're going to be producing quite a bit more than we are up there. And yeah, so in this episode, we are going to be making some supercapacitors. Oh, I do have some EM plates on me. Sweet. Okay, so what do we need for supercapacitors? So we need a lot of things actually. We need five of some things. So we need some liquid coming in, some electrolyte, which we have being created down here. We need some holmium plate and some superconductors, both of which are going to be on the bus here. So we have dedicated lines for those. And then we need some batteries and green circuits. So those will be coming in here. We need to back this up. We're going to have green circuits here with batteries, because those will be coming off the sushi bus. And then holmium plate and superconductor are going to be here. I think we need something like 18 of these. We're producing 0.3 per second. For the science, we need 0.2 per second. And for the science, we need to make about 17 or 18 of these. Okay, so that means we're going to need probably about 12 of these. So this is fine. We're gonna want to overproduce this, so we are gonna add some extras. So we'll have 9 and 9. The extra stuff that we will need it for isn't overly taxing. It's just some things here and there. Nothing that we're gonna be producing like infinite amounts of, let's say, like the science, or in the case of the superconductors, the quantum processors. So yeah, this is how we're going to set this up. We will need to flip every other one of these, just V for vertical flip. That way the liquid can go through, so the liquid will need to come in somewhere over here. I don't know where this is on the bus. Here. Okay, so that'll be that one there. Uh-oh. Oh, just the bots. Oof. We will need incoming. And more incoming. We will export this out onto the bus, so it is probably going to go right next to the superconductors. It will have its own dedicated line. Something like that. And as for power, we are going to just kind of mimic what we did down here and just put it on the double sections of the line. Actually, we can scoot this back. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so we're going to copy all of this and vertically flip. Yeah, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Ah, no. There we go. give the bot something to do while they are sacrificing themselves for the greater good. Okay, so that is going to be our supercapacitors. Let's just... Yeah, we'll just do it like that. Bring these back something like that. All right, let's see what we need to do to get these on. So we're going to have, this is holmium, nope. This is superconductors here. This is going to jump over. It doesn't need to go that far. Okay, so the superconductors will come through here, split off, be on the bottom side. They will be allowed to continue on. Holmium plate will come across here, go to the top side, and it will be able to continue on. Okay, that works for me. Now, as for the sushi belt stuff, let's do this in remote view, map view. We need to bring this, where am I? I'm just going to line this up and drag that over here, force stamp that in. I like it more when they line up, so we'll just pull them both back to there. Cut and paste that closer. Okay, so this was electrolyte. I really need to move all of the storage over here somewhere. It will help out tremendously. Okay, give those guys some power, and now we just need to do the same thing up here. We are going... Oh, we need to filter this. Let's do the green circuits on top. And what was it? Batteries? Batteries. Okay, so that should be a decent supply for that. If we were to kind of buffer this, this would get in the way. I'm not too concerned. If we need a buffer for it, which we will determine later, then we'll just do a complete pass through the bus and start down here and kind of just go. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing over here. This one, we'll just like reverse it instead of... Oh, I hope I eyeballed that correctly. Okay, good. Yeah, it kind of sucks not like having all of the items like constantly going on the bus. That way we can like, you know, double check our work, because I'm always saying, you know, be sure to double check your work. Especially with as many mistakes as I seem to make on this channel, so double checking is always very good, and we have nothing coming in, so we're just kind of blindly double checking our own work, making sure that stuff like this is lined up, and you know, these are going to have access back here, stuff like that. Making sure the pipes are actually going to go through, or that they're, you know, actually connected to the bus. And that will need to continue on because we need that for our EM science. Okay, so we've got a little bit of wasted space up here, but that's fine. Worst case scenario, if I needed to double this or add to it, we could probably do something like this. And I would just have to accept going over the roboports, at least on the side here, and either remove these roboports or just ignore the machines there. Yeah, I don't like wasting space like this, but you know what? It is what it is. I don't think that we will need to expand this, and I definitely could have built it similar to like this, like my the style that I tend to make. But I don't anticipate that we will need too much more of this. Like I said, we mostly need it for science. We are going to be making some lightning collectors as soon as possible. We are going to be trying to upcycle some of this other stuff. Well, maybe not the Tesla turrets, but we'll need a decent amount of these. We'll need a decent amount of these, and way more for these guys for upcycling. Anyways, we will get there. Okay, so we need to add in this guy for this section here. We'll just stamp that in. Make sure it's going to visibly work out because we have now supercapacitors coming through here, and that should be fine. These are set up properly. Okay, we are good. Another option, instead of having like a buffer, is we could just plan on having incoming items. So for instance, we could say, you know what, maybe this does need to be up some. We could have a situation like this and request in the items that we need. So this would be, for instance, batteries, and this would be green circuits. We're not going to worry about it right now, but like I said, just to kind of give you an idea. I know that this way of doing it will work. I just don't know what the end result of the functionality of it will be. It's always exciting trying something new. Like I've never done this before. I was just thinking about it and I was like, wait a minute, what if we had all these lines of just the sushi belt and taking off of it and just going right in and building a normal build? That would be fantastic. A lot of people are like, you're usually pretty tempted to try to make, I don't know, like a bot base out of Fulgora, and that's 100% what I did whenever I first got here for the first time. Anyways, we are 12 minutes into this. Let's get going. So we need to make some science. That is next thing on the agenda. So we are going to need some rockets and some science. So for the science, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to allow the liquids to pass through because there are two different liquids. Let's just do this out in the middle so we can kind of pay attention. Okay, so we are going to need 4 items. We need supercapacitors, which we now have on the bus. We need accumulators, which we are making way back here. So I did say that we were just going to pass across the bus, and I think that is still the plan. So let's see which direction these are outputting. They are outputting onto this belt here. So we'll just have this come up and almost make like its own, like a mini bus over here. If anything else gets in the way. Do I want to move this closer? There, little mini bus alongside the bus. Just ignore that, my poor bots. Okay, so what did I say we needed for this? Was something like, I think I said like 18. It's actually, let's see, it's actually closer to 17 to get to 5 per second. We're just going to be on the safe side and do this. 18, so we're going to have 9 and 9. This is going to be interesting. If I vertically flip this to line these up, is that going to work? Horizontally flip every other? Which one was every other? This one? So then we can have something like this. Nice. Okay, I think this will work out. Yep, works for me. And then we can just have one electrolyte coming in. Okay, so then we're going to need kind of the same thing here. Just a little bit in reverse, or I guess on the opposite rotation or alternation. And then we will need supercapacitors and accumulators coming in, not out. These will need inputs, and that is going to be like that. Power. What is power going to look like? Is this going to cover everything? It is not. Ooh, this is not going to line up the best, but you know what? That should be fine. Except it's not connecting to any of the towers. That's... Really? Come on, man. Ugh, whatever. Okay, so I want to pull this down. And I want to line it up with this. So let's do this in map view real quick. So like that. Copy all this, vertically flip and see. That should be fine. Okay, that will work. Alright, so what did we say we needed? We needed supercapacitors and accumulators. So the accumulators... This might actually work out. Let's get this guy moved up so we can see. There, so accumulators will split off of its line here and then continue on. It will go on the top row here. This will go on the bottom row, and then this will be picked up here. Okay. Is that going to cause problems with these? Probably not. This is our electrolyte. I know, I'm sorry about the bot death. Actually, I don't think we need the electrolyte past this point. Yeah, we do. Alright, whatever. That will continue on. So we need some holmium solution here. That was the first one that we started with. No. I don't think we're going to continue on with water. Maybe. Light oil was here. Yeah, you know what? We will continue on with water. Let's do it just in case, because we might end up making some reinforced concrete as well. Just enough to get some of the EM plants that we need. needs reinforced concrete, and it is becoming quite painful to import it. So if we can make it here, which we can, we will maybe set up a little setup. I think I have an idea on kind of a playful way to do some of that. So yeah. All right, continuing on with our science, we need the holmium. We determined that that is the second one. Also need it here. About that one. That is everything we needed that for. Okay, so that is the end of this line. Now, let's see if I can get some rockets up here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the science whip around here because it only needs to go to whatever rockets we have. Make sure we have enough room to fit beacons. Yep. And we're going to have to do some underground funkiness to get some blue circuits and what? Blue circuits, LES, and oh, we need rocket fuel. So rocket fuel we're probably going to make just over here. In which case we can probably do the rocket fuel on its own line. Let's say rocket fuel is going to be here. That'll work. Man, I knew that this would be funky. And I am not really a huge fan of going and like using every bit of this little city block. And even if we wanted to, like, look at this. If we did end up wanting to double this, it's just going to squeeze in. Okay, so that's where the science is going to come in from. Yeah, we can just do blue belts, that's fine. These will be in here like this. Did I double those up on Novice? I don't know. I did not. Okay. Let's just copy that section and make sure that we... Oh, that's going to be a problem. Whatever. Doesn't have to be all the way up as long as it kind of connects. I know, that is very not like me, but you know what? I did say that Fulgora was going to be one of those planets, right? Okay, so we need to get some power, so we're just going to do this. Excuse me. Oh, okay, can't do it there. That is definitely going to cause problems. What if we do it here? I'm not going to reach over here. That is perfectly fine. You just squeeze it in like that. Ooh, that is not going to work. Whatever. Ugh, the ugliness. The ugliness. Okay, so this one's going to be a little different. As a matter of fact, we probably shouldn't have done multiple lines like this. Now that I think about it. Yeah, we're going to... Nope. We're definitely going to reduce the lines here. So we're going to have blue circuits on the top, LDS on the bottom. That is all coming from our sushi belt. Give this some power, jump over. So now this is where our rocket fuel will come in. That will be for rocket fuel. These two will be grabbing their stuff. Everyone will be happy, and well, except for me for these power substations, but whatever. Okay, that is how we're going to work with that. Okay, so now we just need to get the bots in here and place some of these down, but like I said, we're a little bit behind on the production of the EM plants. Not a big deal. Like if you were like, okay, so we're tearing this down sooner rather than later. If you like really wanted to, you could maybe, I don't know, use an island out here, give it its own power supply, and kind of have like, I don't know, a scrap dump over here, just dropping off like one train worth or something like that, and just have a constant filter of like destroying everything but holmium ore. Maybe do that on a couple of different islands just to kind of like, I don't know, almost like double your production. Anyways, so that is going to be it for me for this episode. I am so looking forward to finally turning this thing on. I can't wait. Like I've never actually done something like this before. I've never completely set up something from basically your starting materials all the way to science and not had it actively going. You know, generally it's not an issue. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this works out. Okay, so in the next episode, we are going to make some rocket fuel. We are going to turn this bad boy on. We are also going to make, I think we might skip making something like we made on Volcanus. We're not going to make it, I don't think we're going to make something like this. I think we might actually just start with using like an upcycler to start making the rank 3 quality modules. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I would love to be able to showcase kind of like the way that I tend to do things when making a quality upcycler. And yeah, so we're going to do that in the next episode. We are, like I said, rocket fuel is going to be over here. We are nearing the end of the amount of space that we can even use. So we might have to throw in some other products over here, like the EM plants and I don't know what else can we make on this planet. Let's actually just check the holmium. That'll give us a good indicator. Tesla guns. Yes, that is something that we can make here. Mech armor for upcycling. That is another option or good idea. And yeah, personal roboports. So some of the stuff we can do with bots, some of this we will actually make like a build for, but yeah, we will start that process in the next episode. Anyways, that is going to be it for me for now. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.